What's going on, everybody? Billy Glowacki with Unchained Potential. Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday number 4. Today we're going to be talking about muscle growth. And with anything, we want you guys to understand both why and how, at least at a basic level, these things matter. So let's start with why. Why is having more muscle going to be beneficial for you in your training and your success? I've got 3 things written up here and 3 things that I want to talk to you about. And one, it's going to increase your metabolic effect. If you have more muscle tissue, you can burn more calories and it'll lead you to a leaner physique. Number 2, it's going to increase your strength. So having more muscle tissue allows you to get stronger. Number 3, I think this is the most appealing of the 3. It's going to reduce your risk for injury. If you're injured, you can't get better. So being injury-free is always one of the best things, one of your best weapons. Now that we've kind of talked about why, let's talk about how. So how do we impact a muscle to grow? There are 3 primary mechanisms that are going to influence a muscle tissue to grow. Those 3 things are written up here: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. Those are 3 kind of arbitrary words to a lot of you, so I'm going to try to simplify them and so that you can understand them, and hopefully the goal is that you can implement what I talk about today into your training, and it can positively impact you. So when I talk about mechanical tension, I want you to think of the load on the bar or the intensity. So influencing mechanical tension would be training at higher intensities. Get up above 80%. If you're constantly training below that and you're training for solely the pump or the burn and you're always training at lower intensities, a way that you can impact this or influence this to change would be to increase the load on the bar, train at your higher intensities. Number 2, metabolic stress. What does that mean? When I talk about metabolic stress, I want you to think about the pump or the burn. So a lot of people are familiar with this in their training. The pump or the burn essentially is, the goal is to push as much blood inside the muscle cell, and we also want to prevent that blood from escaping. So by doing this, what we actually do is we cause a lot of stress to the cell itself, and when we cause that cell to be stressed, the cell actually swells. So a couple different ways that we can influence this variable is that we can implement something called blood flow restriction training or occlusion training. We could also start applying the time under tension principle. So you can, instead of doing 10 reps, you can say, I'm going to rep this movement out for 30 seconds. There's various ways that we can impact the pump or the burn. Drop sets is another way. Again, this is all forcing blood inside the muscle cell with trying to prevent it from escaping. And the third thing is muscle damage, the third mechanism, muscle damage. So what do I want you to think about? I want you to think about soreness when you think about muscle damage. So how sore do you get? There's both 2 ends of the spectrum. Obviously, you can not get sore at all from your training, and then you can get crippling sore. I think there's a happy medium that we have to find in our training. And so if you're not getting sore at all in your training, there's a couple things that we can do to influence that. Also, if you're getting ridiculously sore where you can't move, you might be on a little bit too high on the volume or the intensity. So what are the ways that we can influence muscle damage? Number 1 is variability in your training. If you're not getting sore at all, think about varying your training and starting a new training block or implementing different movements that your body's not used to. By adding in that variability, we can create some muscle damage. Some other things that you could do is you could take your body through an extended range of motion through the movement. So if you're always doing deadlifts from the floor, you could think about deadlifting from a deficit. You could stand up on a block, or you could put some bumper plates down and do the same movement, but do it through an extended range of motion. So taking that body through an extended range of motion is a way that's going to create more soreness. Okay, so wrapping up, what I want you to take away is that these 3 things need to be in your program. They need to be in there together. You can't just have mechanical tension in your program. You can't have your entire program revolve around metabolic stress or muscle damage. It needs to be optimized. Each area needs to be optimized. And how do you do that? It's proper program design. So there's a place for your higher intensities, but too much high intensity and you can't recover from that. So we have to also consider recoverability. Same thing with muscle damage and metabolic stress. If you are getting so sore from moving that you can't train the following day, recoverability has to be considered when we think about these. So a great program has all three of these things in it, and we also want to tailor that to the individual. So if you're more of a strength and power athlete, you're going to have a little bit more of maybe the mechanical tension. If you are a physique athlete, you might have a little bit more of this, but still including this, because we need all three things to optimize muscle growth. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Our goal, as always, is to educate you, empower you, and equip you with the tools, and hopefully we've done that so that you can get better and progress. It's about getting better every single day. So thank you for tuning in. Follow all of our social media. It's Unchained Potential, and the new website is www.unchainedpotential.net. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay unchained.